Good day, friends, and welcome back to Conflicts of the Human Race. Today, I will tell you about the entire story of the Vietnam War, 1955-1975. Now buckle up as we begin. In 1954, the Geneva Conference divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel, with Ho Chi Minh's communist Viet Minh controlling the north and the French-backed state of Vietnam in the south under Emperor Bao Dai. Elections promised for 1956 to unify the country never happened, as the US feared a communist victory and propped up Ngo Dinh Diem as prime minister. Diem, a staunch Catholic anti-communist, consolidated power, refused elections, and began suppressing suspected communists in the south. This sparked insurgency, setting the stage for decades of war. The lush jungles and rice paddies of Indochina would soon become a quagmire for superpowers. Ho Chi Minh in Hanoi rallied his people with promises of unification, while in Saigon, Diem's regime grew corrupt and unpopular. US advisors trickled in, but the seeds of conflict were sown in diplomatic deceit and ideological fervor. Ngo Dinh Diem, installed as South Vietnam's president in 1955, launched the Denounce the Communists campaign, executing thousands and forcing survivors into hiding in the jungles. Land reforms failed, alienating peasants who turned to the National Liberation Front, the Viet Cong. Ho Chi Minh, from Hanoi, authorized the insurgency to overthrow Diem. US aid flowed in, but Diem's favoritism toward Catholics and repression fueled resentment. By 1959, the Ho Chi Minh Trail was being built through Laos and Cambodia to supply southern rebels. Villages burned, families divided, the air thick with tension. American advisors like Colonel Landell watched as ARVN troops struggled against guerrilla tactics. The monsoons came, turning paths to mud, mirroring the slippery path to war. Diem's brother NHU controlled the secret police, terrorizing opponents. In the north, NVA regulars trained with Soviet and Chinese weapons, AK-47s gleaming. The stage was set for escalation as the domino theory gripped Washington. In December 1960, the Viet Cong officially formed in the south, blending southern insurgents with northern support. Their motto, "Nothing is more precious than independence and freedom." Ambushes on ARVN patrols increased, punji stakes and booby traps claiming lives. Diem's strategic hamlets program relocated villagers into fortified camps, but it backfired, seen as imprisonment. US President Kennedy sent more advisors, reaching 16,000 by 1963. Green Berets trained ARVN in counterinsurgency, but corruption and poor leadership plagued the South. Jungle warfare favored the VC, who melted into the population. Night after night, hit-and-run raids terrorized outposts. Kennedy's flexible response doctrine committed America deeper. In Hanoi, Le Duan pushed for victory, while Ho Chi Minh urged caution. The war's tempo quickened, body counts rose, and the first Americans died in combat. November 1, 1963, a coup backed by US. Ambassador Henry Cabot Lodge toppled Diem. Buddhist monk Thich Quang Duc's self-immolation protested repression, shocking the world. Diem and NHU were assassinated, plunging South Vietnam into chaos with multiple coups. General Nguyen Van Thieu emerged later, but instability reigned. US involvement deepened under Lyndon Johnson. The Gulf of Tonkin incident loomed. In the jungles, VC strength grew to 50,000. Ho Chi Minh Trail traffic intensified despite bombings. American families awaited news, while in Washington, hawks pushed for action. The rainy season flooded trails, but resolve hardened on both sides. This power vacuum allowed communists to gain ground, setting up the incident that would change everything. August 2-4, 1964, the Gulf of Tonkin. USS Maddox allegedly attacked by North Vietnamese torpedo boats, followed by a dubious second incident. Johnson used it to pass the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, granting war powers. Operation Rolling Thunder began in 1965, massive bombing of North. US Marines landed at Da Nang, first combat troops. Air power ruled skies, B-52s carpet-bombed, napalm scorched earth. But North Vietnamese SAMES and resolve held. Hanoi called for total resistance. Johnson assured no wider war, but escalation was on. Protests stirred in US campuses. The die was cast for full commitment. November 1965, Battle of Ia Drang Valley, first major clash between US 1st Cavalry and NVA. LT. Col Hal Moore led Broken Arrow calls as GIs fought hand-to-hand in elephant grass. Helicopters air-assaulted Plamy, Hueys whirring under fire. 305 Americans dead, 35-0 NVA. Moore's leadership inspired, but it showed war's brutality. Jungle canopy hid enemies. M16 jams plagued troops. Agent Orange began defoliating, revealing bare hills. Westmoreland demanded more troops, reaching 184,000. VC/NVA adapted, tunneling underground. America learned jungle wars cost. 1966-67, search and destroy missions intensified. Hamburger Hill taken then abandoned, symbolizing futility. Kisan siege 1968, Marines held Hilltop against 20,000 NVA artillery barrage. B-52 Arclight strikes pounded positions. Hill 881 in mist, trenches filled with mud. Anti-war movement grew, MLK criticized war. Troops patrolled triple canopy jungle, booby traps everywhere. Napalm strikes lit nights orange. Westmoreland's attrition strategy aimed to break enemies' will, but Ho's mantra, nothing given, nothing lost. Casualties mounted, morale strained. January 30, 1968, Tet offensive. 80,000 VC/NVA attacked 100 cities. Saigon U.S. Embassy breached. TV images shocked America. Walter Cronkite declared stalemate. Street fighting in Hue lasted month. 8,000 civilians executed. ARVN and US retook ground, but psychologically communists won. Johnson, I shall not seek. Re-election. Turning point. Protests erupted. Saigon chaos, monks burning, soldiers weary. North claimed victory in People's War. March 16, 1968, My Lai Massacre, LT. William Calley ordered Charlie Company to kill 500 unarmed villagers, women, children. Hugh Thompson's helicopter crew intervened. Photos by Ron Hebel horrified world, eroding support. Courts-martial followed, Calley convicted. War crimes stained US honor. Meanwhile, Cambodia sanctuaries bombed secretly. Troops questioned orders, fragging incidents rose. Jungle patrols deadlier. Agent Orange caused birth defects later. 1969, Nixon's Vietnamization. Train ARVN, withdraw US troops. Peak 543,000 down to 24,000 by 1972. Kent State shootings 1970, 4 students killed. Invasion of Cambodia May 1970 disrupted sanctuaries, sparked protests. Laos Ho Chi Minh Trail bombed in Operation Lam Sun 700 in 1971. ARVN failed badly. US air support saved them. Nixon's madman theory pressured Hanoi. Peace talks in Paris dragged, Leduc Tho and Kissinger. Easter Offensive March 1972, 12-0 NVA invaded South with tanks, first use. ARVN buckled, Quang Tri fell. US air power, linebacker bombing North's dikes, mined Haiphong. South held with linebacker II later. 100,000 NVA casualties. Proved Vietnamization incomplete, but stalled communists. Hanoi sued for peace. Paris Peace Accords January 27, 1973. Ceasefire, US withdrawal by March, POW return. South intact, but North kept troops in South. Nixon promised aid, but Congress cut it. Thieu reluctant signer. Kissinger Nobel declined. Last US troops left, but war continued. 1973-74, low-intensity war. ARVN defended, shortages hurt. North rebuilt via trail. Phuoc Long fell Jan 1975 unopposed, testing US resolve. No intervention. Ford asked aid, Congress refused. Politburo saw weakness. Spring 1975 North Offensive, 3 divisions hit Ban Mi Thuot Central Highlands March 10. ARVN collapse, Highway 21 cut. Thieu ordered retreat to coast, rout ensued. Pleiku, Kontum abandoned. 100,000 fled in chaos. March 1975, Da Nang. 100,000 ARVN surrendered to 40,000 NVA. Highway 1 clogged with refugees, ships overloaded, sunk by artillery. Marines fought last stand. Total disintegration. NVA advanced south. Xuan Lock heroically held April 9-21 by ARVN 18th Division, 5,000 dead each side. Last major battle, North committed reserves. April 21, Thieu resigned, fled to Taiwan. Tran Van Huong, then Duong Van Minh president. North raced to Saigon. U.S. Embassy helicopters evacuated Americans. April 30, 1975, fall of Saigon. NVA tanks crashed presidential palace gates. Gen Duong surrendered unconditionally. Operation Frequent Wind. 7,000 evacuated by chopper from rooftops. Iconic image. War ended. Aftermath. South re-educated, boat people fled. Vietnam unified July 2, 1976 as Socialist Republic. U.S. embargo, millions dead total. War changed America, no more dominoes. Vets struggle, PTSD. The Vietnam War cost 58,000 American lives, 1.1 million NVA/VC, 250,000 ARVN, 2 million civilians. Legacy, guerrilla triumph over tech. Changed U.S. policy, Powell Doctrine. North won through perseverance. If you liked today's story, make sure to check out our other videos on our channel. Have a nice day.